Hey everyone, uh, ready to get a little emotional with me today?
Well, I think I can handle that.
Awesome.
Hmm.
So we're gonna do a deep dive into sad hip hop and rap music. You know those songs that just kind of hit you right in the feels?
Yeah, those tracks that you just like feel every word, every beat, every like raw emotion just pouring out.
Exactly. And the inspiration for this deep dive comes from, you guessed it, a list from the top10s.com called Top 10 Saddest Hip Hop and Rap Songs.
Oh yeah, the top 10's always a good source for some heated discussions, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, the comments section on this list is where it really gets interesting.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you get these personal stories, you've got people debating rankings and stuff like that.
Yeah, people are really passionate about these songs, and you can tell they hit deep.
Oh, absolutely.
So, first thing that jumped out at me when I saw this list was just how much one name dominated it.
Yeah, it's pretty striking how much one artist kind of takes over the top 10 there. Really showcases the power of like personal storytelling in hip hop. Yeah. I'm talking about Eminem. 7 out of the top 10 songs are his.
Wow. 7. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot. Artists like that, they really lay themselves bare. They're
Yeah.
vulnerable, and that creates this like intense connection with the listeners.
For sure. And there's a lot of debate swirling around Stan being number one.
Sin, yeah.
It's an amazing story, no doubt. But is it really about Eminem's sadness?
Mm.
It's more about the fans' obsession taking a dark turn.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Stan, it might be more about the listener's interpretation of sadness. The unsettling feeling that the whole story gives you.
Right.
But then when you look at some of the other Eminem tracks on the list, like When I'm Gone
Yeah.
or Mockingbird, the sadness there, it's like undeniably personal. He's grappling with his relationship with his daughter, Haley, and just the weight of his own fame.
And those songs just hit you on a whole other level. The way he raps about wanting to be there for her, even as his career pulls him away. I think that's something a lot of parents can relate to.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we haven't lived the exact same life as Eminem, the emotion in his lyrics just taps into those universal themes.
Hmm.
Parental love, sacrifice, the fear of missing out on those like precious moments with your kids.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff.
It is. And the fact that like Haley's a recurring motif in his music too, it just strengthens that emotional bond. It's not just a song, you know, it's like a window into his life, his struggles, his love for his daughter. It's personal.
Yeah. You bring up a good point about connecting with these artists through their music. And this list isn't just about personal struggles either.
No, not at all. You've got artists like Tupac and Nas on here where
Yeah.
the sadness that comes from something much bigger,
Yeah.
societal issues, poverty loss that impacts like whole communities.
Yeah, that's a whole different kind of weight.
Absolutely. And these artists, they use their music as like social commentary. They're forcing us to confront these like difficult realities that
Mhm.
a lot of people would rather just ignore.
It's like holding a mirror up to society.
Exactly. And a great example of that is Brenda's Got a Baby by Tupac.
Oh, man, that song.
Heartbreaking. It tells this story of a 12-year-old girl who gets pregnant after she's raped, and then she ends up abandoned, facing a really bleak future.
It's devastating.
It is, but it's so important too because it like shines a light on the systems that fail these vulnerable communities and lead to these tragedies in the first place.
There was one comment that actually contrasted Tupac's focus on these social issues with Eminem's more personal narratives. They suggested that Tupac's music had like a more real-world impact because of that.
Hmm. It's an interesting debate, isn't it?
It is. What do you think about that?
I mean, I can see both sides.
Yeah.
With Eminem, he's kind of pulling you into his personal world, right?
Yeah.
But then Tupac, he throws open the doors to this world that many people would choose to just ignore.
Yeah.
They're both powerful in their own way. And it's fascinating
Yeah.
to see how listeners connect with these different approaches to sadness in music.
It is. Okay. Speaking of powerful storytelling, though, we have to talk about Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique.
Oh, yes.
Multiple people called it epic in the comments. They were praising the storytelling. What makes a song like that so effective, in terms of narrative?
Well, Dance with the Devil, it's seriously a masterclass in storytelling through hip hop. It's about this young man who gets caught up in the drug game and he's committing increasingly horrible acts to try and climb the ranks.
Yeah, it gets dark.
Oh, it's dark. And it ends with this absolutely devastating twist that just leaves you reeling.
Oh, yeah. The imagery is so vivid.
It's vivid and disturbing. You're just drawn into this character's descent.
I remember the first time I heard it, I had to stop what I was doing and just like sit with it. you know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not just sad, it like stays with you.
It really does. It's thought-provoking. It really proves how a well-crafted story can elevate a song beyond just conveying emotion.
So
It can be a powerful tool for social commentary, forcing us to confront, like, the consequences of our choices and the cycle of violence. It's deep stuff.
okay, so we've got personal struggles, societal commentary, epic storytelling. But what about the different ways that sadness is like expressed musically? Because even on this list, there's a whole range, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Some artists like Eminem in Difficult, they just go for raw, unfiltered emotion.
Yeah.
It's like listening to someone having a breakdown right in front of you.
Oh, yeah. Like you're intruding almost.
Yeah. And then you have songs like Beautiful, also by Eminem, which blends that sadness with this message of resilience.
Yeah.
It acknowledges the pain, but it ultimately champions hope and self-acceptance.
And that resonates too in a different way.
Yeah. It's that feeling of, yeah, things are tough, but you can keep going. Find that strength to keep moving forward. And that's one of the beautiful things about music is that it offers these different avenues for processing emotions. Some people find comfort in that raw expression, while others might gravitate towards these messages of hope. What about you? What resonates most with you on this list?
It's funny you asked that because I actually connected with one of the hidden gems a little further down on the list, Happy Birthday by Flipside. Have you heard that one?
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday. That's a good one.
It's about a man coming to terms with his girlfriend's abortion, and it's just incredibly raw and honest.
It is. It's a great example of how hip-hop can tackle these really difficult topics with nuance and sensitivity.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff.
Happy Birthday doesn't shy away from the complex emotions surrounding abortion at all.
And that's what makes it so impactful. It's a reminder that even within the genre, there's space for vulnerability and perspectives that we might not always hear.
Absolutely. It's about expanding our understanding of sadness and all the ways it manifests in our lives and in our music.
Wow. We've only scratched the surface of this list, and I'm already seeing how much depth there is to explore. What else have you found that was fascinating in the comments?
Well, there were some comments about how these songs have actually helped people through tough times. One person mentioned how Slippin' by DMX, gave them this sense of understanding during their own struggles with addiction.
Wow.
Heavy stuff. And we're going to delve deeper into that and some other hidden gems in part 2 of our deep dive.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned.
Ah.
Welcome back to our deep dive into sad hip-hop,
Yeah. It's amazing how these artists can take such personal experiences and make music that resonates with so many people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like we were saying earlier, even if we haven't lived the same life, the emotion, the honesty, it creates this sense of shared understanding.
Yeah, and the comment section is full of stories from people who found comfort in these tracks.
Oh, yeah. That's the beautiful thing about music, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can help you process emotions, and you realize you're not alone in your struggles, One comment that stuck with me was about When I'm Gone by Eminem.
Oh, yeah.
The commenter talked about how the song hit home for them because they were also struggling with being away from loved ones while trying to provide for their family.
It's that constant push and pull, right?
Totally. Wanting to be there for the people you love, but also needing to chase your dreams, build a career.
Yeah.
Sometimes that means being physically apart.
Yeah.
It's a sacrifice that can weigh heavy on you.
It does.
And Eminem, he captures that perfectly in When I'm Gone. The guilt of missing moments with his daughter, the fear of not being there for her and wanting to be both a successful artist and a good dad.
It's a struggle a lot of people can relate to, even if their circumstances are different.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of relatable struggles, Mockingbird, also by Eminem, seems to have really hit a nerve with a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Mockingbird.
A lot of the comments mentioned how it brought up their own experiences, with absent parents.
It's a tough one.
It is. Mockingbird is just so poignant. It's Eminem reflecting on his childhood, growing up poor, his mom struggling with addiction.
He's so open about it.
He is. And he talks about that feeling of abandonment.
Yeah.
The longing for stability and the guilt of not being able to provide for his daughters the way he wanted.
One line that really stands out to me, and a few others mentioned it too, is when he raps about not being able to buy his daughter's Christmas presents.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like those anxieties of poverty, the pressure you feel as a parent to provide.
Absolutely. And that probably resonated even more during the pandemic when so many families were struggling financially.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that money and fame don't solve everything.
Right.
It's that human element, the vulnerability, that I think makes us connect with these artists.
Sure, for sure. Makes them relatable. even if their lives are totally different from ours. Now, shifting gears a little bit, Dear Mama by Tupac. A lot of people in the comments were saying it's one of the greatest rap songs ever.
Oh,
And I can see why. It's such a powerful tribute to his mom, Afeni, full of love and honesty, but it also acknowledges the complexities of their relationship.
it is.
Mm.
She was a single mother. She faced a lot of struggles.
Yeah.
It's really a testament to that bond between a mother and her child, even when things are tough. And the fact that Tupac expresses both love and frustration,
Yeah.
admiration and disappointment.
It's so real,
It is.
It's not just some cheesy love song, it's honest.
And I think that's why it connects with so many people. It's
Yeah.
the universal experience of family, the highs and lows, the love, the messy reality of it all.
Yeah. And while we're talking Tupac, we have to talk about Brenda's Got a Baby, which sparked some interesting comparisons to Eminem's work.
Yeah.
Some people thought Tupac's music had a more real-world impact because he tackled social issues head-on, whereas Eminem focused more on his personal stuff.
Interesting.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they're both dealing with pain, but their approach is definitely different. Eminem invites us into his personal world, his inner battles, his emotions.
Yeah.
But Tupac uses his music to bring attention to societal issues, the injustices and struggles of marginalized communities.
Like with Brenda's Got a Baby. It's about this 12-year-old girl who gets pregnant after being raped and then she's abandoned.
Yeah. It doesn't shy away from those harsh realities of poverty, abuse, and trauma.
It's heavy.
It is. It's a powerful critique of a society that fails its most vulnerable members.
It's not just sadness, it's a call to action almost.
It is. And I think that's what makes Tupac so impactful. He's raising awareness, challenging the status quo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it resonates with people who are looking for music that speaks to something bigger than themselves.
It's about using music as a tool for change. And it's fascinating to see how people connect with both approaches, the personal and the social.
Totally.
It's all part of the human experience, isn't it? And music gives us a way to explore those different facets, connect with artists who are expressing emotions that we feel too. Speaking of resonating with emotions, Beautiful by Eminem seems to have struck a chord with a lot of people.
Beautiful, yeah.
People were talking about the duality of sadness and hope.
It's a beautiful track.
Yeah.
It really is. It acknowledges the darkness and pain, but ultimately offers a message of resilience.
Yeah.
It starts with these vulnerable verses where Eminem talks about self-doubt, feeling lost, battling his demons. And then the chorus comes in with this uplifting melody and lyrics about finding beauty in the midst of the struggle.
It's that shift from darkness to light that's so powerful.
One commenter mentioned how this song helped them through a really tough time. It reminded them that even when things are bad, there's always a reason to keep going.
To find that inner strength.
Exactly. And I think that speaks to the power of music, to give us comfort and hope even when we're facing adversity. It's okay to acknowledge the darkness, but focus on the light. Find beauty in the broken pieces. And that ability to hold both the sadness and the hope is what makes Beautiful so powerful and enduring.
It really is. So we've talked about personal songs, social issues, songs that blend sadness and hope, but we can't ignore the fact that this list has started some pretty heated debates in the comments.
Oh, yeah. That's the beauty of music, though, isn't it?
It is.
Different songs hit different people in different ways.
For example, there's been a lot of debate about Stan being #1.
Stan, yeah.
Some say it's more about obsession than sadness, but others think it captures the tragedy of unrequited fandom perfectly.
It really shows the power of storytelling, how a song can have so many different interpretations.
Totally. Another debate that caught my eye was about Love the Way You Lie. Some felt that the song romanticized a toxic relationship, while others saw it as this honest portrayal of the complexities of love and abuse.
It definitely sparks some important conversations about healthy relationships and the cycle of violence.
Yeah.
And it highlights the responsibility artists have to approach sensitive topics carefully. It's not about glorifying abuse. It's about shedding light on a complex issue.
And I think those conversations are important to have. Music can be a catalyst for change. It makes us think critically about the world.
Exactly. And it's not always about easy answers,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about acknowledging that human emotions are complicated.
Yeah.
And music gives us a safe way to explore them.
We've covered a lot in this part of our deep dive, exploring the emotion behind these songs and the conversations they've sparked.
We have.
But we're not done yet. In part 3, we're going to look at some of those hidden gems, the lesser-known tracks that deserve more recognition.
Oh, yeah.
So stay tuned as we continue exploring the power of sad hip-hop and rap music. Welcome back to our deep dive. It's time to unearth those hidden gems. The tracks that might not have hit #1, but still pack an emotional punch.
Oh, for sure. These hidden gems, they often give you a fresh perspective,
Right.
a rawness that you might not get from the mainstream.
Exactly. And sometimes they tackle subjects you don't often hear discussed so openly, like Happy Birthday by Flipside.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday.
It deals with abortion from the man's point of view, grappling with his girlfriend's decision.
Yeah. You don't hear that perspective very often in music.
Especially in hip-hop.
Especially in hip-hop, right. And what makes Happy Birthday so powerful is the honesty. The lyrics. They don't shy away from the grief, the regret, the helplessness. It's raw.
Yeah, one commenter mentioned how the song started a conversation about abortion in a way they hadn't encountered before.
Yeah.
They like how it showed a male perspective on something that's usually seen from the woman's side.
It's a good reminder that hip-hop can be a platform for all sorts of voices,
Yeah.
even on tough topics that are hard to talk about.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this genre so powerful. It creates a space for those conversations.
I'm sure.
Okay, let's move on to Slippin' by DMX. This one hits hard,
Subbing, yeah. Yeah.
especially knowing his struggles with addiction later on.
Yeah, there's just this rawness to his voice that gives me chills
Oh, yeah.
in Slipping. DMX just lays it all out there. His vulnerability, the addiction, the feeling of being trapped.
You can hear the pain in his voice.
It's like this fight for survival.
Yeah, and one comment mentioned how Slippin' helped them through their own struggles with addictions.
Yeah.
They felt like DMX understood their pain.
Right, it's that shared experience that makes these songs so powerful.
Yeah, it's about knowing you're not alone.
Yeah, someone else has been there and come out the other side.
And I think DMX's willingness to be so open in his music is what makes it so relatable.
Oh, for sure. It reminds us that even the strongest people can have their demons.
Okay, last one we've got You Never Know by Immortal Technique.
You never know.
This one caught my eye because it's a love song, but without all that misogyny you sometimes hear in the genre.
Right. It's refreshing.
Yeah. Immortal Technique raps about falling in love with this woman, but admiring her from a distance, letting her live her life.
It's a beautiful way to express love.
It-
Admiration and respect instead of possession.
Yeah, a lot of the comments talked about how rare it is to find a love song in hip-hop that doesn't objectify women.
Yeah, it shows that Immortal Technique isn't afraid to challenge the norms,
Right.
offer a different viewpoint in a genre that sometimes gets criticized for how it treats women.
Wow. This deep dive has been amazing.
It has.
From Eminem's personal stories to Tupac's social commentary and these hidden gems, we've covered so much.
It's amazing how these artists can take their pain and struggles and turn them into music that speaks to so many people.
Right?
They've created this space for sharing tough emotions and finding comfort in knowing you're not alone.
Like we said at the beginning, music connects us.
It really does.
These songs remind us that we're all in this together,
Yeah.
with our struggles, our sadness, our hopes, our dreams.
As we wrap up, I want to encourage you to listen to these songs. Really listen.
Yeah.
Not just for the sadness, but for the stories they tell, the things they make you think about.
Explore them on your own. Let the music take you on a journey.
It's exactly.
That's it for our deep dive into sad hip-hop and rap.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep and exploring the power of music.